Hello friends, Books with Grandma here, and today I have a book called Buck's Tooth by Diane Kredensor. Chapter 1. This is Buck. He's a beaver. Like most beavers, Buck had three. No, he didn't. Like most beavers, Buck had little ears, a flat tail, thick brown fur, and big front teeth. Or in Buck's case, one big square front tooth. Buck didn't like his tooth, not one bit. It's silly. The tooth ruined everything. How Buck talked. Chutes and ladders? Sometimes he sprays when he talks. He can't help it. Tissue? How Buck smiled. I'm all tooth. How Buck ate. Slow down, dear. Chew your food. Chomp, chomp. It did make brushing his teeth easier. That was about it. And now, Buck's big square tooth was about to ruin the biggest event of the year. I love how he has post-it notes up there. Wash face, brush tooth, hug cat. The Beaverton Talent Show. Annual Beaverton Talent Show. Prizes, fun, nuts. Hosted by the Squirrels. Talent show sign up. So we have people signed up here. No one in Beaverton would think of missing it. Once, Jimmy Nagel blew such a big bubble, he flew up into a tree. Everyone is still talking about when Charlie Lane wiggled his ears, tail, and nose while juggling 4 apples. This year, Buck and his friends were finally old enough to enter the show. I'm singing Feathers in the Nest. I'm making my cousins Ethan and Eddie disappear. I'm log rolling. Donald turned to Buck. What are you going to do, Buck? Buck looked from Donald to Pearl to Marvin. It's a surprise, he said. Chapter 2. And it was a surprise, even to Buck. He had no idea what his talent was. Everything he tried to do ended in disaster. I can't see past my tooth. Stilt walking, flute playing. I can't see past my tooth. Whistling. Pfft. His tooth always got in the way. Why did Buck have this silly tooth in the first place? When Buck's tooth had started to grow, it looked different from everyone else's teeth in his family. There he is at 6 months, 3 years, 5 years. Everyone but his Uncle Henry. Buck looked exactly like him. Uncle Henry was a famous sculptor. With his one big tooth, he could sculpt just about anyone in Beaverton. Sammy Squirrel, amazing. Charlie Chipmunk, incredible. Tweets Bee Bird, super. Bobby Bear, yowza. Everyone thought Buck should follow in Uncle Henry's footsteps. But not Buck. He didn't want to be in his uncle's shadow. Ah, my masterpiece is complete. This is your very first talent show, Bucky. I remember my first show. I made a toothpick. What will you be doing? It's a surprise. With every step home, Buck grew more worried. Everyone is really expecting something special from me. How will I ever pull this off? Wait a minute. Buck stopped. For the first time in days, he smiled. That's it. I have to pull my tooth out. Buck was sure if he got rid of his tooth, he would find his talent. Chapter 3. Buck hurried home and started planning Operation Tooth Pull. The next morning, he and his tooth were ready. So long, tooth. It's time to say goodbye. Buck started with Plan A. He called his sisters. I need your help. Molly, shut the door. Slam. Polly, shut the door. Slam. Holly, shut the door. Really hard. Slam, slam. Plan A didn't work. Buck moved on to Plan B. Mom, do you need help cracking nuts? Why, thank you, Buck, but be careful. You can crack your tooth. I know. I will. After opening 30 pecans, 22 Brazil nuts, and 15 walnuts, Buck's tooth still wouldn't budge. No problem. There was always Plan C. Buck went to Marvin's house. Marvin, I need your help. You're such an awesome magician. Can you make my tooth disappear? Are you sure, Buck? I really like your tooth. Once it's gone, it's not coming back. Buck was sure. He closed his eyes, he took a deep breath and bid farewell to his tooth. Hocus pocus! Buck opened his eyes. His tooth was still there. Try again. Simsalabim! Buck's tooth was still there. Shoes and socks, spaghetti and meatballs. No matter what Marvin said, nothing happened. Operation Tooth Pull was officially a failure. I'm sorry, Buck. I guess your tooth doesn't want to disappear. Chapter 4. Buck wanted to be alone. He went to one of his favorite spots and crawled in. Tooth, you bring me nothing but trouble. I'm not going to the talent show, and that's that. Buck started to fall asleep when he heard Pearl calling his name. Buck! Buck! Here you are. I've been looking for you. I thought you'd be practicing your surprise. Buck didn't answer. Buck, I'm your best friend, right? You have to tell me what the surprise is. Please, 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 please. Finally, Buck spoke. The surprise is that I have no talent. All I have is a big tooth, and both of us are good at nothing. That's not true, Buck. Oh, really? Have you seen me play the flute, or walk on stilts, or eat corn? At first, Pearl was silent, but before she left, she told Buck, You just haven't found your talent yet. It might be that it's right under your nose. Once he was alone again, Buck couldn't stop thinking. Everyone is going to grow up and leave me behind. Pearl will be a famous singer. Marvin will make everyone disappear into thin air. Donald will roll logs down the Mississippi River. And I'll be left with my tooth. Chapter 5. While everyone waited for the talent show to begin, Uncle Henry wheeled his statue to the back of the stage. I think this is one of my greatest creations. I've never worked so hard before. Welcome to the 25th Annual Beaverton Talent Show. There are so many new acts this year. First up is Holly, Molly, and Polly. Back at the log, Buck could hear clapping, laughing, and cheering. And then he heard singing. It was Pearl. I can't miss Pearl. She'll never forgive me. Uh-oh. 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 Bam! Uh-oh, what did I do? Oh, no. Uncle Harry's masterpiece. I have to fix it before anyone finds out. Chapter 6. Frankie McSunders had just finished reciting Casey at the Bat. Fine job, Frankie. And now Henry Broadtail invites you all to see his newest masterpiece. I'm so proud to share my latest and maybe greatest work in honor of our beloved Beaverton. Without further ado, surprise. The crowd gasped. This is surprise? A reluctant surprise with a question mark. What are you doing, Buck? Well, Molly, I was on my way to the talent show. What have you done? This looks absolutely ... fantastic. What? Uncle Henry smiled. I've never seen such fine carving. The details are amazing. Bucky, how did you do this? All eyes were on Buck. My tooth? I used my tooth, Uncle Harry. Buck realized what he had said. Then Buck realized what he had done. My tooth. I used my tooth. And just like Pearl had said, Buck's talent was right under his nose the whole time. The The end. Thank you so much for stopping by. And until next time, remember to always have fun.